Clear left, bid left, move to route. Cross-check number 1 while completing the fence check. Fuel, 900. Engine, green and white. Nav aids, set. Channel, 7. Equipment. G-suit checks, loose items stowed.
Phase 2-1 check. 2. San Antonio, phase 2-1, established 78 low.
Phase 2-100.
Move back into fingertip for the GX. GX may be completed from route, fingertip, tactical. Clearing in his direction of turn, accelerating, ready for the Gs. When number 1 passes my trailing edge, I'll begin my GX. Head nod. Max. Roll. Pause. Pull. Slight descent. Execute G awareness while keeping lead in sight. Verbalize front cockpit, rear cockpit Gs. Go with the higher.
Phase 1, 40, 900.
Roll out behind number 1. Wait for the rejoin. Rejoin to the left, initially looking for the stack to be 2 to 4 ships above the horizon. Line. Roll and pull to the inside of the turn circle, looking for the wing to be bisected by the horizontal stab, eventually hitting the tip of the other wing. Spacing 200 to 210 for 180 knot rejoin. Approaching 3 aspect, roll wings level momentarily, matches wings. Baby forward line of sight, pull to freeze them in the windscreen. Put your arm up on the canopy rail and extend your thumb for appropriate stack position of number 1. Approaching RA, reduce power half knob width, tail number, half knob width. Move into a root position and stabilize. Close the deal. On the following rejoin, observe and feel free to offer your own instruction. Prior to beginning wing work exercise, level 3, review your priorities as number 2 and ensure your aircraft is trimmed. Wing work priorities should be stack line spacing. For the stack, elevator inputs. For the line, power and aileron. For the spacing, aileron and power. I'm looking at the whole aircraft. You could think of the CFIS door as an ADI for your composite cross-check. Slight roll towards me, I reduce backstick pressure, reduce power. He's beginning a turn to the left again. So I pull, add, and roll. Pull, stick, add power, about a knob width to a half knob width, and roll with number 1. You start to feel lighter flight control inputs. You see the ground behind them. You know that a transition is coming. As the aircraft rolls towards me, I reduce elevator, reduce power, and roll away from number 1. Same rules apply, going uphill, pull, stick, add power, roll away. Think small corrections, wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, relax. Look at the whole aircraft, anticipating a turn away as his nose goes through the horizon. Cross under signal, high to low. Be patient. Reduce power, roll to the inside of his turn. Wait until the tie-down strap is on the exhaust. Move forward. Keep your distance for the sun if necessary. Feel free to observe and offer your own instruction on the left side. For close trail, treat it like a cross-under. Move approximately 1 to 2 ship lengths aft of number 1. Put them slightly above the prop arc. For the range, right in the middle, draw a line straight up from the AOA indexer and mag compass to hit the wingtips. The main thing for close trail is to be patient with the flight control and power inputs. As number 1 reaches the crest of their leaf, add power, approximately 1 knob width, to prevent accordion effect. In the valley, reduce power as necessary to maintain fore-aft position.
San Antonio, go to 01, established, ran 6 high.
When number 1 directs the reform, push through the slipstream with power, aileron, rudder, and a little pull. Reform to fingertip on the inside of the turn. If straight and level, reform to the left. The formation breakout is used to achieve safe separation immediately to avoid a midair. Use the HITS acronym. During the breakout, clear in the direction of brake using power and/or speed brake as required. Roll, align the fuselage while simultaneously calling visual. For a rejoin into, utilize the high yo-yo by selecting max power and pulling towards the high 6. Reverse the turn with top rudder. Roll to the inside of number 1's turn circle. When number 1 pops above the horizon, cross-check speed, and think stack, line, spacing. If visual with number 1, the wingman may roll out regardless of who initiates the breakout. Rejoin away. Select max power. Roll to the inside of the turn circle. Fight for stack, line, spacing.
Fangs 2, go practice lost wingman.
I'm envisioning myself in the weather, maybe base to final for an ILS. Start to get out of position by reducing power and transition instruments. Maintain your bank.
Phase 1 is straight level 9,500 heading 210.
Ensure safe separation by cross-checking your heading with his. Turn back to that heading and look for number 1.
Phase 2 clear return to 3.
Set up a rejoin to 3 the same way you would set up a normal rejoin. Endgame, you'll execute a cross-under-like maneuver. When traversing the 6, stay low, press echelon, and don't pop until you see the Cephas door become close to the trailing edge of the wing. Maintaining echelon, there's the Cephas door on the trailing edge, climbing into fingertip. Middle of the MOA, backing up number 1. Clear, loose items stowed, fuels balanced.
Phase 2 go extended trail, exercise over.
Max power pull, roll towards number 1. Cross-check torque, call in, looking for 500 to 1,000 feet, 3 to 4.5 aspect. Be patient, but tenacious. You're looking at about 800 feet in 3 aspect. Staying on the high side of the fighting wing cone. I see line of sight aft on the high side, so we have more potential energy than him. Tails bisecting the wing. I wait till I get close to the 3 aspect and 1,000 feet, then I roll and pull to the inside of his turn circle. Momentarily align my fuselage. Wait for forward line of sight, and pull to freeze him in the windscreen. Looking for skinny, white wing. I see the horizontal stab on the opposite wing, looking for the 4 aspect, in addition looking at the exhaust stack on the closest wing. Pull up with him. Aspect decreasing, range increasing, forward line of sight. Roll to the inside of his turn circle. Momentarily align your fuselage. Wait for forward line of sight. Match his wings, pull to freeze him in the windscreen. Skinny, white wing. In preparation for over the tops, cross-check energy. 250 knots, 8,200 feet. Number 1, explodes towards the top of the canopy. About a 30-degree deck angle change, I pull to freeze him in the windscreen. Monitoring energy, beat him to the horizon with pull. Cross-check speed, altitude. Assessing position, slight aft line of sight. Pull G's to slide back on the line and regain your aspect. Patience. Treat the barrel roll like a leaf. Pull, roll, assess energy. Seeing slight aft line of sight means I have more potential energy. So I will pull, roll with him. If inverted and confused, just pick a side. using a little more pull, a little outside rudder to maintain my aspect. Same concept with the cloverleaf. Pull with them. Be patient. Once inverted, cross-check energy. Pull G to maintain frozen line of sight. Anticipating a turn towards me, I lag vertically first and laterally if necessary. Stay outside the 300-foot bubble by going to the outside of his turn circle. Back in position. Cuban is the same as a loop. Be patient. Wait till number 1 explodes towards the top of the canopy. Assess energy state. Back up number 1. Once inverted, be patient when number 1 flips. Remain inverted if necessary. When you flip and you see that you have too much energy, go to the outside of the turn circle. Still in position. Complete the ops check and terminate drill, and remain in the fighting wing cone, using power and flight control inputs as required. A reform from fighting wing to fingertip or root may be accomplished at any airspeed. For a lead change initiated in fingertip, number 2 moves out and forward, ensuring wingtip clearance. When a beam number 1, assume the lead with a head nod. Squawk out, turn on TAS, and assume responsibility as the new number 1. Assess energy state, maintain situational awareness, and split volumes with UHF louder than VHF. A pitch out does not have to be a G awareness exercise. Make the signal high in the canopy, acknowledge, select max power, roll, pause, pull for a crisp entry. Assess energy state, put the aircraft where you want it. Use power as required, approximately 47% to establish 180 knots in the middle of the MOA. Start thinking about the PAWN acronym: platform, area, wingman, next. Rock your wings in the direction of turn to rejoin number 2. The further away number 2, the larger the wing rock. For the platform, set about 47% for 180 knots, level 30-degree bank turn to the left. Area, right in the middle. Wingman, about 1,000 feet to the left. Next, think ahead. A typical profile begins with either wing work or close trail. Once number 2 is in position, while on the inside of the turn, I advance the power to approximately 60% to begin the wing work exercise. Starting with a little pull in the vertical, clearing in the direction of turn, blending in bank when either the AOA indexer or mag compass hits the horizon on the first pull, increasing the bank to 90 degrees, and waiting until the canopy fills with ground to begin my roll the other direction. Keep positive backstick pressure, smoothly blend in pull and roll. Arrive at the horizon approximately wings level, and continue constant pull and roll. Drag your bottom foot on the horizon or look for a face full of sky. Keep backstick pressure. Once the nose goes below the horizon, ensure that the dihedral wing does not take over. Maintain 90 degrees of bank until your top canopy bow hits the horizon. Cross-check energy and wingman. Telegraph the turn if you're going the same direction. A cross-under from high to low is best. I typically carry a little extra speed during the cross under so that number 2 has something to work with. Target airspeed at the bottom of the leaf is approximately 230 to 240 knots, and at the top is 130 140 knots to achieve a 100 knot airspeed change. A slight G-suit inflation will yield approximately 2 Gs. The close trail exercise is identical. No need to stop wing work while sending number 2 to close trail. One subtle difference in close trail is the sun. Avoid pointing directly at the sun during close trail. If wing work lead proficiency needs work, utilize close trail to hone your skills. Not having to cross-check number 2 visually allows number 1 to focus more on flying the maneuver. To terminate close trail or wing work at a neutral energy state, begin to roll towards the horizon as the nose hits the horizon. To expedite, reform number 2 while turning.
Casa 2-1 check.
2.
San Antonio Casa 2-1 established.
Platform
10,
solid
high
in the area, wingman off to the left. Next, echelon turn. Big signal, high in the canopy. Acknowledge. Power set. Moderate roll rate. Blend in backstick pressure. Drag the TAS antenna on the horizon. Searching for level flight. However, a climb is better than a descent and may be necessary for area management.
San Antonio Casa 2-1
Use
established
constant
area 10,
G.
high level.
Telegraph the rollout. Increase roll while blending away the G as you approach level flight. Clear, plan, monitor. Prior to the breakout, assess your platform and energy state. Platform. 180 knots, 30 degrees of bank, 0 VSI. Project your flight path based off of number 2's rejoin. If concerned about a border and 2 is in fingertip, you can use more than 30 degrees of bank to maneuver or utilize a more fluid position like fighting wing. Complete a cleft check prior to extended trail. Max, roll, neutralize, pull. Note the torque. When 2 calls in, cross-check torque and adjust for 85% in a low MOA. Increase bank, lower the nose slightly, and begin to gain energy for the first leap. Use a slow roll rate and approximately 2 to 3 Gs on the pull. Heels on the horizon, increase roll to 120 degrees of bank. Cross-check energy state, area, and wingman. Keep the nose scraping across the sky. With a face full of ground, begin to rotate back towards the horizon. Continue to assess energy. Take note of the sun prior to executing over-the-top maneuvers. Expecting number 2 to eventually collapse to the inside of the turn circle, 10,500 feet descending, keeping my pull and roll towards number 2. Do not snap the wings. Set your lift vector, prepare for the over-the-top. 250, 7-8, straight pull to 4 Gs right up the zipper. Wingtip ball, cross-check number 2. Arch your neck, find the horizon. Fly the Cuban 8. Cross-check altitude, airspeed. When the seat hits the horizon, neutralize. Roll, rudder, freeze. Cross-check number 2. Assess energy. The direction of roll does not matter as long as the maneuver is flown correctly. Barrel roll, pick something off the nose at 90 degrees and 45 degrees. Use more pull than roll. A little top rudder. Release backstick pressure. When the nose gets below the horizon, pull it back towards the original starting point. Cross-check energy. Glance at number 2 on the right side. If area management is not a factor, make a turn towards number 2. This will help provide a stable platform as well as assist number 2 in position improvement. To set up a loop, keep the nose buried slightly longer than a normal leaf. Get a face full of ground, cross-check number 2. Begin a nice, smooth roll and pull towards the horizon, 240 knots, 8,000 feet. Set your lift vector, pull 4 Gs, straight to the zipper, wingtip ball. Fly your aircraft. Maintain SA on number 2. Cross-check energy inverted. Constant nose track. Cross-check number 2. In your own cockpit, check fuel and Gs. Complete the terminate drill while continuing to maneuver with power and flight control inputs as required. Fence out.